Hello, welcome to the bonus episode of Wasted. Aren't you guys lucky? Aren't they lucky?
They're so lucky.
They are so lucky. I bet you guys are wondering, what do we owe this pleasure? The iPhone keynote is out now. It's done. I feel like it was yesterday I was talking about the iPhone 16.
It has gone very, very
It has gone so fast. So we're just gonna have a little chit chat with you guys about it, just like last time, and you guys can hear our opinions on it. And yeah,
Let's crack on.
Yeah.
I suppose before we talk about the iPhone, there were a couple of other things, weren't there? There was the new watch, and the new AirPods, and they weren't too exciting. I think the AirPods having the heart rate sensor and stuff was quite cool.
Yeah,
and the fact they didn't make them more expensive, because I thought that would be their excuse to up the price. But,
we'll be looking at our pads a lot because obviously we're not pros at knowing every single detail about the iPhone 17.
Well, some of the details are still sort of coming out, aren't they?
Yes.
Like, they don't necessarily tell you everything in the...
Well, just like Apple Intelligence, it was like, this came out in September, but you're not going to get this until like 3 million years later. Yeah. So that was disappointing.
Yeah, they didn't really chat that much about Apple Intelligence.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, it's like they were sort of like, let's ignore that. They talked less about the iOS 26 as well.
Yeah.
Like the liquid glass and everything. Felt like they'd maybe talk about it more than they did, because in a lot of ways I know the old iPhone's going to get it anyway, but that's almost like the new thing, isn't it? It's going to change how your iPhone looks, whereas the new iPhones, obviously there's a few changes, but it's not like they look like a different phone completely. So really the software is probably the biggest change. I thought they'd maybe go on about that a bit more. Yeah. I don't like liquid glass. I think it looks horrible.
Do you know what? I just don't care for it.
Yeah, to me it already looks outdated. It's like going back to, like when Windows Vista came out and everything like that, and it was all see-through, and then they sort of, with Windows 7, they fixed it a bit and it looked a bit nicer. And to me, it already feels outdated. And I know that happens sometimes when new designs come out, like a bit like when the iPhone went all flat. Mm-hmm. Like they changed it and everything went all white and sort of bland, and it takes a little while to get used to it, and then once it becomes a norm, it changes. But yeah, I just think that the glassy effect and stuff doesn't look good to me. And obviously I've spent a lot of my life making websites and interface and stuff, and it doesn't work very well. I don't think it's there's not the contrast. Things aren't really clear because when they're see-through, like the text isn't readable enough. And I know compared to when they first released the original like beta versions and stuff, they have tweaked it a bit. They've frosted things a bit more. They made things a bit darker in places, but it's still, to me, it doesn't really work and it doesn't look good.
But like, I'm probably going off subject here and we will come back to this, but it is relevant. With Androids, it's sort of their, like Samsung's, it's sort of their, I don't know, brand as such, to have like different shapes and flips and folds and curves or whatever. But I feel like with iPhone, because it has always been sort of the square, it's like, what more can you do without it? Not to be a hater, but like, will it then not be an iPhone? Because like the first thought of an iPhone is that square looking one.
Well, it's like when they the notch. Like obviously Samsung's just have the little tiny. Yeah. And I know Apple, like they do the dynamic island and they've got more sensors in there for Face ID and everything. But it's almost they have to have that so it looks like an iPhone. Yeah, I think they held on to the notch longer than maybe they should have done, because that's the iPhone look. A bit like with the old iPhone look was the round button and everything else, and they sort of held on to that. And obviously, sort of like you said as well, like it's just the shape's the shape. So really, a lot of the design changes, they change the back, and when they show you everything, they're like, look at the back. Whereas like you don't look at the back of your phone, like you look at the screen.
Isn't it?
The screen's just a screen. So it's like they're trying to freshen it up by changing the back, but. I mean, to be fair, iPhones especially, everyone seems to put them face down.
Yeah.
And I think I did say about this in an old episode of, I think it's because the screen lights up all the time and you get notifications and it annoys people.
What, does Android not?
Well, you sort of choose whether you want it to or not. And I think most people don't. Or Samsung, for example, for ages have had the always on display. So you could have notifications and the screen's sort of already on so it doesn't light up. And obviously iPhones have that now. But yeah, I feel like...
I had to turn mine off because it was draining my battery so bad. Yeah, so sorry, I got off topic there. But I'm just wondering, because like, I never had the first iPhone. Was it just that really tiny one? It had like a curved back, if I remember.
It was really rounded.
Because I think like my sister might have had it. But my first iPhone was that white one. iPhone
4 was the first one.
Yes, that white sort of.
I think they did a white
glassy back.
3GS, but yeah, the
I
iPhone
had
4.
the 3GS. Yes.
The 3GS, they did a white one, but it still looked like the original iPhone.
Yeah.
Whereas the iPhone 4, when that came out, that was insane. Like it had the metal edges and it was all glass, and the screen was so much better than like almost any phone because it was Retina display and everything else. The iPhone 4 was the 100% one for me, where I've not been an iPhone person, where I did look at it a bit jealous and say, I wish we had something like that.
I always wanted the iPhone 5Cs because they had the like multi-colours, but then they weren't really good.
I think that sometimes as well, like, because, you know, the iPhone 5C, for example, was obviously like a cheaper iPhone. And now they got like the 16E and stuff as the cheaper option, but it's almost... It would be nice if they did an option like that, where instead of it being cheaper and having not the same processor and worse cameras and stuff, like make it sort of plasticky and colourful, because some people probably actually prefer that, and it's harder to break and everything. But don't necessarily rein in the bits that make it good. It probably wouldn't be that much cheaper, but like, you know, maybe 100 quid or something. I don't know, enough to make a difference.
Yeah. Getting back onto 17, I feel like we should talk about the phone last because that's quite the most interesting topic of it. But I do want to just add in about the new Apple Watch Series 11 and Ultra 3. Series 11 now tracks hypertension, has deeper sleep tracking and a more comfortable fit. And the Ultra 3 goes big with 5G support, satellite connectivity, longer battery life, and a brighter, larger display. So if you get lost in the world, your watch can find the way or call for
help. The Ultra, I think, actually does have like really good battery because it's so big. I think it does last like a couple of days. So it probably does have really good battery. I think the problems with the watches, like, yeah, they make like the bezel a little bit thinner and stuff, but like they haven't really changed for ages, have they? I mean, I don't know what hypertension is, so I don't know if I need to track it anyway. And maybe I'm just stupid because I don't know what hypertension is. Maybe everyone else knows what hypertension is and they're worried about it. But yeah, I feel like it's another thing to worry people about that maybe... I don't know if you need to worry about it. I'm sure if it's really bad, it probably is something to worry about. But you know, like, you know, people get obsessed with tracking their sleep and everything. And I think I said this before as well. Like, I sort of, you know, I go to bed, I sleep, I wake up. I probably know if I've had a good night's sleep or not by how tired I am.
That's
and I don't know how helpful it is for me. If it's like you didn't sleep well, it's like, well, yeah, I know. Like, I don't know, maybe it does give you tips on how to sleep better, but
I do like the Apple Watches though. You don't have the...
I did have a Samsung watch for a while, like when they brought out the first one that I thought was good. I did have that, and I was trying to get into it.
Yeah.
But I felt like I was forcing myself to wear it. And a lot of when I got it, for example, I was like, oh, this would be really good because I'll get my notifications and stuff. Yeah. And it turns out like I don't really want all my notifications. Because like if I want to see it, I'll look at my phone versus my wrist is like, and I'm like, all right, yeah. And it's sort of like, I don't actually care. Yeah. I don't. It's good for telling the time.
What did you think about the AirPods apart from they're ugly and you don't understand them?
Well, I mean, they look the same.
They got noise cancelling now.
They had noise They added...
Wasn't the
Pros
Max?
Always had noise cancelling. Yeah. And then last year there's like a noise cancelling version and a non-noise cancelling version in there. But on the Pros, it was like the heart rate sensor and stuff. It's quite cool because then if you're going for a run or something... and you're listening to music, you could use that instead of your Apple Watch. But then I do feel like if you're an Apple person, you probably do have a watch and the AirPods and everything else. So you're already doing it on your watch. So I don't know how useful that is. But like I said, if they'd have done that and put the price up as an excuse of, it does heart rate sensing now, so it's got to be more expensive. In fact, they didn't put the price up. It's like, well, it's nice to having it. And if no one uses it, no one uses it.
I feel like the AirPods were just like a sort of like, yeah, we made some like more AirPods and it was just like a throwaway thing because there's not much to say about them.
I think they know that not many people are going to go, oh, I've got AirPod 4s, but I'm going to rush out and get AirPod 5s or anything else. Like, then, you know, not like the iPhone where it's like, oh, I've got to have the new one. I feel like, and maybe they do sound better over time. I don't know. But no one seems to ever... I don't even remember them saying like, "Oh, best sounding AirPods," as though it's like, well,
it's just basic. Yeah, I just think they just name it different and that's it.
Yeah, so AirPods are a bit different, and
the longer battery life.
That is good, but at the same time, I don't know how many people keep their AirPods in for 10 hours.
No way.
So like, and you know how quickly they charge in a case. So it's like, you're going to sort of have them in and out, and it'll be okay. They haven't done anything with AirPods Max for a while, have they? They changed it to USB-C last year. Did the new colours? Was it last year or some new colours? And by all accounts, they sound really good. Maybe there's not too much to do with them at the minute.
That's the thing. It's like stuff that go on or in your ear, like how much can you really do and change?
Well, so, you know, like it is a lot of people who really like music and everything like that. Like a lot of people buy like old speakers and stuff for like the sound. So it's almost like newer isn't necessarily better.
Yeah.
I think with wireless earphones and stuff, they sort of are because they started off not very good. So they've got better.
Now for the main event, the iPhones. So there's one new model and obviously the other models that have been around for a while now, but no more Plus.
I wonder whether it's because, obviously it's something we're going to talk about in a second, but because the base 17 has got a few of the Pro things, it's almost like it's blurred the lines where it's like sort of get the 17 or if you want a bigger one, get the Pro Max.
Yeah.
Whereas it leaves the Plus as a bit like, it's probably too similar to the Pro Max.
Yeah,
maybe.
I used to think like, because the 16 has had the Plus, and I was thinking they're basically the same thing, isn't it? Like you either
Well, they didn't do Plus for ages, did they? Like when they did like the iPhone 6 and stuff, they brought out the Plus. Then I think it was like the 6 and the 6 Plus.
had the iPhone. My God, I always forget the name of this, but it was rose gold, and it was the first iPhone 8. It was rose gold. I think it was the iPhone 8 Plus.
I don't know if they did an 8 Plus, did they?
Or was it
I
just
don't
the
think
8? But it was a bigger one.
Well, the 8 came out at the same time as the 10, didn't it? Like the 10 had the notch, and
Yeah.
the 8 was like old style still.
It still had the button.
Yeah. So like that was sort of the last of those, wasn't it? Because then the 10S they did the 10R, so the cheap one still had the notch and stuff. So it's sort of the
We
last.
fact
of
check
it.
if there was an 8 Plus. Yeah, I thought I
Was
was
there?
streaming it then. Yeah,
There was an 8 Plus.
because it was the first phone that I had, and I was like, "Whoa, this is big!" And then ever since, I just wanted that, like a bigger phone. I just loved the bigger phone.
Well, we said about this before as well. I feel like a lot of people, they're like, "Oh, I don't want a bigger phone," but then when they actually get one, they're like, "No, it's pretty good having a
Yeah,
big screen."
it's great. Just to tell you a little bit about the basic iPhone 17. This model has a 6.3 inch OLED screen with ProMotion, 120 hertz, and always on display.
It's a weird one because I feel like there was a complete lack of excitement about the iPhone 17 from from most people, because it's definitely reached a point where it's like, oh, it's going to be the same old thing. It's like when FIFA comes out every year. It's not even called FIFA anymore, and people are like, oh, it's the
Is
same
it not?
game. No, it's called FC 26. Well, the last few, because they
Fun
fell out
fact.
with FIFA. But it's like, oh, it's the same game, and the iPhone, it's like, oh, it's the same old iPhone. And then this year, when everyone's been sort of like, oh, it's just going to be the same old thing.
No, the basic iPhone is the basic iPhone.
Yeah, but as in, it's not as basic as it used to be. Like, because it's got a lot
As
of
in
the
like
pro
the features.
features. Yeah,
Oh, okay. I
so,
think you meant like looks wise. It's
yeah, but
the
as in,
same.
I feel like this is actually, for me, in terms of what they've done with the iPhones this year, I'm quite impressed. If you get what I
quite
mean.
tempted to buy one. You're gonna
No, I mean,
switch?
to be fair, well, if I was going to get one, I'd get like the Pro Max anyway. So
Yeah.
the basic one is not of that much interest to me. But and to be fair, people who aren't that bothered, are they going to notice the 120 hertz display? Like they might do because it feels smoother. They probably won't really care, like, because 60 hertz is okay. Probably
Yeah.
what people notice more is because it's the variable refresh rate and stuff. Is like, you know, it's supposed to actually help battery life and stuff as well, because it doesn't do 120 hertz if it doesn't need to. So that might help in that sense. But yeah, I think that I am impressed because it's made the standard iPhone 17 for me like a much better phone than the old one. Another thing that like I don't remember it being in the leaks or anyone talking about it. And as soon as they
Yeah.
said center stage, because of the MacBooks do it, where if you're doing a video call, as long as you've got it turned on, like when you move around, like because it's higher enough resolution that
Yeah.
it sort of crops you in, and when you move around, it will move the camera around with you. And so when they said that, I was like, oh, that's sort of cool, but like it'd be cool for FaceTime and stuff. And then when they actually showed the example of, well, now it's so wide angled that you can take sort of landscape. Yeah. When you can take landscape photos, and it's like, oh, actually, that's probably pretty good. And I think a lot of people enjoy that.
Yeah, I like that.
Especially because on the Samsungs, it has, maybe iPhone had it anyway.
Samsung already have this feature.
Sort of, because
Shock.
it's not quite the same, but it's like it has like a wide view, and it's sort of cool because it detects it as well. So like if you went to take a selfie and it sees that there's a few people, it will sort of zoom the camera out a bit to fit you all
Yeah.
in, and then if you don't need to, you can do it yourself, but it'll just be normal. And I think like that is quite a handy little feature. I mean, like it, you know, it's not groundbreaking or anything, but again, it's like good quality of life stuff and like actual improvements. Like they've actually done a few things. Like it's not just like, oh, it's the best selfie cam ever. It's like, oh, actually it does something a little bit different. So it's an improvement for me. Whereas normally if they say it's the best selfie camera on an iPhone ever, it's like, Will you really notice the difference? Probably not.
Another feature of the camera is dual capture video. So it's basically like a B-reel sort of situation where...
I don't know what B-roll is.
I can't believe that it was really popular. I had it for like a week and then I forgot that I had it. You'd have a notification on your phone, you'd go into the app, you and your friends would have it, and then you would take a photo of exactly what you were doing at that exact moment, and it would take a photo of the front and back. And then you'd post it on there and like do like a little caption and stuff. Like, I can't believe you don't know what this is.
I've never
It
heard
was
it.
so popular.
Is it a very iPhone thing, or is it?
No.
This dual capture thing is like, it's sort of, there's,
It's
you know,
cool.
well, that's what I mean. There's nothing negative to say. It's like, it's cool that they've added it. I don't know how many people are going to use it all the time, but like,
Yeah, I think it'll be good for people at concerts, festivals, like in
the
group
example
scenarios.
they had was someone like filming their kid playing basketball or something, wasn't it? Or something like that.
What, just film their reaction as well?
No, as in they're seeing the kid play basketball, but yeah, they're also seeing them like, come on, Dave.
I'd hate that actually.
Well,
I'd be like-
this is what I mean. It's sort of, there's no reason to be negative about it, because it's like, if you don't like it, don't use it. But it's like, I don't know how brilliant it really is, but it's a nice thing to have, and I'm sure someone will find a use for that. I don't know if I would have a use for it.
I wish I had it when I went to the concert last week, because I was constantly like a 0.5 zoom, 0.5 camera, and then it would have like, you'd hear slight wind every time.
It's a nice little thing. I don't think it's groundbreaking, but everyone's probably going to find a time when they're like, oh, I could do that.
Yeah. The iPhone Air, it's the most interesting one. The new family member to the
Again,
iPhones.
I actually
hate it.
I was like, all the leaks and stuff. I was a bit like, what's the point of that? If you get what I mean, in terms of, has anyone ever said, you get the new iPhone and stuff, and you're like, oh, it's brilliant, but if only it was even thinner. Like, I don't think anyone feels. No one's saying, oh, my phone's so thick, and then most people put it in a case. So like,
I do complain that my phone is really heavy.
That is heavy. That's heavier than mine, I think.
Heavy.
Yeah, it's way heavier.
But
than mine.
I wouldn't.
How light that is.
No, that looks like it would be heavier, but no, this is so heavy to me. And like my Plus was like that, big but still light. But that is, I can't have it in my pockets. It'll pull my trousers down.
Right, I think it's different for women as well, because you quite often don't have pockets or whatever, or
That
you've
is very
got
true.
small. Women are generally a bit smaller and stuff as well.
Yeah.
So like you've got smaller pockets, so it is more of an issue. But I don't.
But I don't want a thinner phone.
Well, that's what I mean as well. It's thinner, but it's not like, it's like the same size, so
Yeah.
it's not really going to make much difference, really. And the trade-offs worth it is the question. But the leaks, I was like, why are they doing that?
Doesn't
Like, it
look
just
very
feels.
nice.
And obviously, Samsung did the S25 Edge, and I was a bit like, why? It's like a worse S25 with worse battery. Why bother? And it's nice that it's a bit like the first Fold, the first Flip. There were a lot of things about them that weren't very good.
Yeah.
But you've got to start somewhere. And I thought maybe the iPhone Air 12 or whatever will be amazing, but it will take time to get there. And I was actually pretty impressed in terms of that they'd done something quite clever with it. Like where it's got the camera bump, they've pretty much put all the important bits in there, which they said all day battery, didn't they?
That's also going to be easier to fix. If there's a problem, then you don't need to take out the whole back. You just got to take the top
you've
out.
got to take all, because the battery blocks everything as well, I think. So you have to take the battery out and everything else. But
you also think that a thinner phone is like a worse battery, but apparently it stretches to 40 hours. But like sometimes I'm thinking like it looks too thin to hold so much.
well, this is, I mean, obviously they sort of showed pictures of the internals and stuff, because they were showing everything being in the bump. And I wonder whether by putting everything in the bump, it's basically left the rest of the phone free for battery.
the battery, yeah.
So it's almost, maybe it's one of those things, because I remember this happening with the iPads. When the iPad Air came out, obviously it's like way slimmer than the normal iPad was.
Yeah.
And then what happened was all the iPads went like that after a little while. So they stopped doing the Air, and they've actually brought the Air back now. But it makes me wonder, will there be an iPhone Air forever? Because will it be like that the iPhone 20 is just really thin because they've cracked it?
yeah.
Like, and now they can always be thin, and like, why not? But the other thing with that is putting everything in that little bump. It feels to me like it could be part of what they're developing for their folds.
Yeah.
As in, like, put all the important bits in this
Yeah,
little
it
area,
goes.
and it means the rest of it can be thin and fold and everything else. So it could be the first step of that, and maybe the iPhone Air will become like the iPhone Air Fold or something else. Yeah.
It's 5.6 millimeters. So just for reference, because we say it's thinner, but it's 5.6 millimeters. And it's eSIM only, which most of the phones are now. But
I think some American ones already are on iPhones, aren't they? Yeah,
it's also under $1,000.
Well, that is
Starts off, should I say? It's not actually under $1,000. But
the other thing is, I thought it'd probably be more expensive.
Yeah,
like,
me
as in
too.
it'll be like a sort of, you can have this and show off, but it costs 1,500 quid. So
Yeah.
I'm sort of, I'm impressed by it, but again, I'm not sure how many people are going to choose it over the normal one, especially because it's only got one camera as well, hasn't it? So there are some.
That's what I don't like
drawbacks.
about it, I'll be honest. Like, and with the Pro and the Pro Max versions, they're so ugly at the back. I don't like it.
Well,
I'm
I
happy
do.
with my free
You know what
cameras
it
like
is?
that.
Where they've done everything in the bump, I wonder whether like that's why they've done the bump on the Pros to make the, like we said about the notch is what an iPhone looks like, to say iPhones have the bump, which to me looks a bit like a Google Pixel or something, which I don't think they're nice looking phones. So I don't think it's a design improvement. On the Air, I accept that maybe it's the only way to do it. Yeah, my only other thought on the Air is
On the old iPhone Air.
yeah, my other thought on the Air is because it's thinner. I don't remember them mentioning this at all, but I'm pretty certain it's gonna make the speakers worse and stuff like that, because they're not going to be able to fit as big speakers in, so they've got to be worse or quieter or something. So that said, when they made the speakers more like invisible on the MacBooks, they got better as well. So I don't know.
Yeah. But also, there's obviously still keeping the iPhone Pro and Pro Max. So they're still going to be the same. They also have beefy cooling systems and more advanced cameras. The same networking magic. And the prices start at $1,099.
I was surprised about the prices, like especially because of all the tariff stuff. There was talk that they'd put the price up elsewhere to sort of balance them out, and so that America didn't look so expensive and stuff. But whatever they've done, they seem to have kept it pretty reasonable.
And also, off the topic, but still on the topic, they're trying to basically say that the iPhone 17 are like scratch proof, you know, like they won't break easily. And they had like that little video playing where they were like filming something and like stuff was flying at them and the phone. And I'm going to be so honest, and I think I said this to you last night, that might be fine, but you drop it on a bit of carpet and it's going to smash to pieces.
This is always when it, because like my old phone, I accidentally launched it down the street a couple of times and it was fine.
No
but then
scratches.
I've broken phones before because it just slipped out my pocket and fell like a foot. So I guess it's the way it lands and everything.
Yeah.
But I always do think, because you see videos of people like getting Stanley knives, and it's like phones have been like that for ages, because obviously in the grand scheme of things, a Stanley knife, it might be sharp, but it's not harder than the glass. Whereas you normally get all your scratches from like tiny bits of grit in your pocket, like sand and stuff, because that is harder. So I think they're always getting better. When you compare them to the old iPhones, like they are harder to break. They scratch a lot less, so they're definitely getting better. But
the
they
8
always
was
have to
bent. Like if you put it in your back pocket and you sat down, it would bend. So I mean, they've come a long way.
That was because it got too thin. That is the.
Oh, I keep saying iPhone 8, but it was actually the iPhone 6. The iPhone 6.
You're obsessed with the iPhone.
Oh, maybe it was the iPhone 6 Plus. It was the iPhone 6 Plus.
I think it's because it was
8.
too it was too thin for its size, wasn't it?
Yes,
like,
I had the iPhone 6. It was the really curved one, and it had like dark rose gold, and then it was a light rose gold in the middle. Yes, because I was always scared that putting it in my back pocket, I would bend it, but it didn't bend. But yeah. Oh,
I wonder whether the Air might bend because it's so thin. No one's really. I mean, maybe some. I haven't necessarily seen what people are saying about these phones yet, if you get what I mean, because obviously we want to have our opinions and not be swayed. But I wonder whether a lot of people are saying, "Oh, that'll bend."
Yeah, I do want to go and see it and touch it, and
I think it probably will feel really cool and stuff. But like I say, most people put a case on it, so it's like
that's the thing.
You probably do this. If you take your case off your phone, you hold it, you're like, "Oh, that's nice."
I said this earlier. I was actually saying this earlier because we were talking about like basically having it being MagSafe, and the case will need like to be MagSafe. So will it? Well, they can't make a really thin case. So will it just end up being this size anyway because the case will be thicker?
You could argue because iPhones are thicker than they are because you put a case on, that with the case on it will be as thick as an iPhone normally is.
Yeah, that's
so
what I mean. It's just a bit. Yeah. We'll soon find out, you know, when it actually comes out and people have got it and there's going to be videos and stuff.
I mean, that is I wonder who's going to buy it now, basically.
And also, like always, they always say, you know, it's from recycled materials and...
Yeah, I do. I always wonder
Sustainable.
with that it's obviously good that they're trying to improve it, but there's always an element of like, you know, a bit of greenwashing or something. Like that it's not quite what it sounds like. I think the Pro, obviously we've not said a lot about the Pro and the Pro Max because
There's not much that was different apart from, you know, the camera
there's
and
the center stage camera and stuff, which obviously is on the others, and they sort of this year they come across as a bit boring, and that's almost the thing of the Pro and the Pro Max were already too good. There's not much to change, and obviously they look worse with that new bump. So I say obviously it's subjective, but But yeah, so it's like they are a bit boring this year, but they're still the best ones and they're good phones. So, you know, and I still, to me, if I was going to buy an iPhone, it would be a Pro. I don't think I'd get a non-Pro.
So what I think it might be a downgrade as well is they've switched from the titanium to I can't say that word.
Aluminum.
Is it?
No, that's what Americans say.
Oh,
Aluminium.
Aluminium. So, which I'm guessing it's because obviously the batteries have that sort of cooling down feature to it.
Did they say about because I assume the aluminium's that's probably why your phone's so heavy. I assume the aluminium weighs less. So while it's a downgrade, it might actually be lighter. So that might be a good side effect of it.
So the iPhone 17 and the iPhone Air has gone on for pre-orders today.
Well, you know what to do your old ones as well if you're pre-ordering. It's not we try and make the podcast interesting and informative. We don't try and go for the sort of.
But at the end of the day, guys, we do what we do.
Yeah, but this is one of those opportunities where this is exactly what we're for. So yeah, make sure you compare your prices, see what you can get
with
for
your old phone.
iPhone 14, 15, 16, and compare and recycle them.
Do it responsibly. Do it with us, and let us know your thoughts.
This is absolutely like I think if you don't get the Pros, this is a great year to upgrade. Yeah, because it's actually quite a lot better. So I'd you know, there's maybe not been the buzz this year, but I do actually think my recommendation is maybe upgrade. See you later.
Like, comment, subscribe, follow us on social media,
and see you later.
See you later.